us want a life where we do not have to stress about money. On top of that, if we can get a lot of free time, we can spend it with our family, we can travel the world, we can pursue passion projects, and in simple words, we can enjoy life. So in easy to understand terms, what is it that we are trying to accomplish? We are trying to achieve three simple goals here. One is that we want money freedom, second, we want time freedom, and third, we want location freedom so that we can pursue and work from anywhere we like. If we are able to achieve this big audacious goal, then our life would be amazing. But the problem is that most people are not able to subdivide this complicated goal into series of simple steps. If you do that, then your chances of achieving this big audacious goal becomes much more easier. So on this video, I'm going to help you do exactly that. You would say that why should I trust your word? So for people who do not know me, my name is Akshat Shrivastava. I graduated from INSEAD in the year 2015. I had completed my MBA. INSEAD is one of the top MBA programs in the world. After that, I worked in the corporate world, created a little bit of wealth, quit my corporate job, created a series of small profitable startups. And right now I live in South Goa. I work for only 3 to 4 hours a day. I do study a lot, so that's how I'm able to run a YouTube channel. But I only work for 3-4 hours a day, spend most of my time with my family. So I have a very young family from that perspective. I'm homeschooling my son. I'm doing a lot of activities, so which I keep posting on YouTube. So do follow me on different social media channels. But for the purpose of this video today, I'm going to talk in practical sense as to how to follow these 8 simple subdivided steps that you can easily achieve to achieve that big audacious goal. This video has been sponsored by Ditto, which is an excellent insurance buying platform. I myself have purchased my insurance from Ditto. More about them subsequently. So step 1 in terms of achieving that big audacious goal is that you need to have a very good job. Some of you might be having family wealth, some of you might be having established businesses, some of you might be running very profitable startups. So this does not apply to maybe those 1-2% people, but this point applies to almost 98-99% of youth in India. Let's see, if you are able to get a very good job, then what does that do for you? The most important thing it does is that A, it gives you confidence, and B, it gives you discretionary income. What is the meaning of discretionary income? Very simple example, that let's say that your salary is 1 lakh and your zaruratmand wala kharcha is like 30,000 that you go and spend as expenses. Tax hata dete hain. So you are able to save 70,000. So that 70,000 is discretionary income. So you can pick it up and do a lot of wonderful things with it. For example, you can create an income stream, you can take risk with that money, create investment income, etc., etc. And for generating discretionary income, first and foremost, you need a good job. Now, is that a very easy thing to do in India? The short answer, unfortunately, is no. Take a look at this graphic and you will see that the unemployment rate amongst youth in India is fairly high. Most of the jobs in India are in the informal sector economy, so there is no data there. But this data is sad in a way. On top of this, if you consider that how much money do top 10% earners in India make, as per studies, it is 25,000. So that 25,000 rupee does not give you a lot of discretionary income. So now, if you're a young person watching this video, you might be scratching your head that what is it that we should be doing? Okay, so 2 set of goals, right? So one is that if you are in India, you want to stay in India, your objective becomes to get gold standard or silver standard jobs. What are they? I'll explain. Or if you're not able to get those jobs in India, then your option 2 becomes that you go out of India to get gold standard or silver standard jobs. So very quick explanation of what gold and silver standard jobs are. So let's use an example. So for example, I used to work in consulting, and in consulting, you have companies like BCG, Bain, McKinsey, Dalberg. These are gold standard companies. Why? Because the brand value is really good. You make good money. So these are gold standard. What would be silver standard? These would be a tier 2 type of consulting job. I will not name the firms because they might feel bad, but I hope you get the picture that there are a lot of boutique consulting firms, smaller firms that do not pay that high, brand value is not that high. But even if you are working with boutique consulting firms which are paying you decent salary, you are in good shape. Now, unfortunately, in countries like India and China, the issue is that there is a mismatch of supply and demand of jobs. There are a lot more people who are demanding high quality jobs. But the number of high quality jobs in the economy that are able to pay you really high salaries, those are not too many. So you as a youngster have a choice that you fight for those jobs in India. It's highly competitive, prepare really well, try to aim for industries like management consulting, investment banking, private equity, VC, All these industries pay really well. In fact, even some startups pay really well. On the flip side, if you're not able to get such a job in India, then your option 2 becomes that look for similar opportunities outside India. Good part there is that more number of gold and silver standard jobs exist outside India. Bad part is that shifting outside India, you might have to spend some money in terms of doing a higher degree or just figuring out a way internally at your company to move there. But your goal number 1 in terms of achieving that audacious goal is to get a good job and create discretionary income. Then comes milestone number 2, that you need to manage your debt situation. These days, taking a debt has become a fashion. I keep on speaking about it on my channel, so I'll keep this part short. These days, you are getting debt for almost everything. Taking a loan has become really easy. BNPL, PNPL, and so many acronyms have been created. Just because you are getting easy credit does not mean that you should take it, because it can create a series of issues for you. I love to give this example all the time, so I'll give it again. See, when you're young and you keep on taking unproductive debt for buying an iPhone, and if for some reason you default on repaying that debt, or even if you are repaying that debt but you are maxing out your credit limit. For example, if your credit limit set by bank is 1 lakh rupee and you keep on taking that debt over and over again, एक बार iPhone 12 के लिए, एक बार iPhone 13 के लिए, एक बार iPhone 14 के लिए, then you are maxing out your credit utilization limit. If you do any of these things, then your CIBIL score will fall. By the time you are 35-40, you have to take productive debt. For example, you have a family, you have to buy a house. Then your CIBIL score is low. What would happen? You will have to pay higher EMI on that home loan. For example, when you are 28, 29, you might decide to do an MBA from outside India. You are trying to take a loan, again, it becomes a problem. So all this unproductive debt that you end up taking before 25, it can hurt you really badly once you are around 30. So please keep that in mind. Do not spoil your credit history and do not take debt that you don't need to take in the first place. So here, let me give you a few rules. That number 1, always try to take debt for productive items. Number 2, if you have to take debt, then don't take debt more than 30% of your total income. For example, if your debt is 1 lakh rupee, credit card payment and वगैरह debt, if you सब कुछ मिला लो, then it should not go more than 30,000 per month. Now you might have a natural question that, hey, I have to buy a house, I'm already 30, 35. Should I be taking a debt? Should I not be taking a debt? Okay, so once you are buying a house, you're not necessarily buying a house. You are buying a home loan EMI. Many a times I get the question that, hey, घर पसंद आ गया है, it's for like 5 CR. I have to buy this house. My salary is not that high. Should I buy it? The short answer is no. Why? Because you can do this quick computation. For example, if your home loan EMI comes out to be 1 lakh, your salary is 1 lakh. Should you be taking that home loan EMI? The answer is no. Probably it makes a sense for you to buy a house that costs less than 1 CR. I'm just putting up all these figures for you to make you think. So please refine it as per your understanding. But I hope that you get my message that you should not put yourself in a situation where you are somewhat stretched in terms of taking a debt. Once your debt situation is figured out and you don't have any debt, then you are in great position to actually start building your life. Which brings us to step 3, which is that you have to create a baseline. Now, baseline means that you are putting yourself in a situation that some amount of risk is not going to hurt you. Now, this comprises of 2 things. One is that you need to have your emergency fund saved. For example, if your monthly expenses are 30,000, then 6 times of 30,000 is 1.8 lakhs. Now, please do a fixed deposit of this 1.8 lakh. This is not an investment from your side. It just protects you from a downside. So if you are out of a job, you can dip into this emergency fund and you can start spending it. It will give you a room of 6 months to look for a job and then work again on that journey of achieving that audacious goal that we initially spoke about. On top of this, what is the second thing that you need to do? You definitely need to have insurance, both health insurance and term insurance. These are critical products that you need simply because of the reason that life is very uncertain. 2020 COVID was one such circumstance where people did not know how to deal with the additional expenses that were thrown at them. That is an uncertain situation. If you need to deal with such a scenario, then definitely have health insurance also and term insurance also. Now, the best part is that buying early allows you to get comprehensive health and life insurance at lower premiums. Because your premiums go up with age, it makes a lot more sense to buy these products earlier in life. So again, if you're considering buying an insurance, talk to insurance experts at Ditto. They do spam-free calling. You can schedule a phone call with them. Get an understanding of what type of insurance you would need. So do schedule the phone call with them by using the links in the description and comment box. So once you have your job situation, debt situation, and emergency fund and insurance situation figured out, you move on to step number 4, which is a wealth building step. And here your goal becomes to save 5 to 10x of your yearly expenses. 5 to 10x. So that might seem to be a very large number. For example, let's say that your monthly expenses, for the ease of computation, we will assume it to be 1 lakh. Okay. So in a year, how much that would be? It would be 12 lakh. Now multiply that by 5. So that comes out to be 60 lakhs. So if you have 5 to 10x of your monthly expenses saved, it puts you in a wonderful situation to take risks in your life. Now, what type of risks? So it's not as if that you need to drive car very fast. That's not the risk that I'm talking about. It can give you a lot of opportunities in terms of building investment income. Because once imagine that you have like 60 lakh rupees saved, you can actually deploy it intelligently in the market for 3 to 5 years and actually create wealth. One of the prime reasons why people are unable, or retail investors are unable to generate wealth in the stock market, is that they have a very poor holding period. उनको पैसे की ज़रूरत होती है, they operate on loan sometime, and then they have to repay that loan. No other option but to sell things at a loss. And studies tell us that if you are having a holding period of 3 to 5 years in the stock market, then you are actually much better off, and the chances of you generating wealth goes up really fast. Now, other type of risks that you could potentially take is that, for example, if you want to quit your job, you want to take a career break 3 to 5 years, want to try out startup world, try to build your own startup, you can definitely do that. You can do some passion projects and try to convert them into an income stream. When do you get to do that? You get to do that once you have your 5 to 10x yearly expenses saved. So this is a very important point. It puts you in a wonderful situation. Once you are able to achieve this, you move to step number 5, which is an even more audacious goal. Many a times you would have heard that, you know what, if I am able to build a corpus where I can just live off of interest, that would be amazing. Well, so as 5th milestone, your goal becomes to save 25x your yearly expenses. Now, why this 25x number? Well, many a times you would have heard the argument, yeah, I want to save so much money that I can just live off of interest. Well, if you're able to do 25x of your yearly expenses, you have reached that stage. How does this rule? So this rule actually is called as 4% withdrawal rule. Now, how does this work? Let's understand the math. So let's assume that you have 1 crore rupees saved. Now, if you're able to grow this income at 10%, and even if you assume the inflation in the economy to be 6%, which is the usual figure in India, then how much is the differential? So 10% minus 6%, it is 4%. So basically by next year, that 1 crore will become 1.04 crore, and you are hypothetically withdrawing 4 lakh rupee. So net, your nest of that 1 crore remains intact. It is not getting hurt, and you are technically living off of your investment. So if you are moving to that space of 25x your yearly expenses, then you are already in a position where you can just live off of the money that you have. Important point to note here is that you should not undertake lifestyle inflation. It should not happen that, okay, that 1 crore rupee save, 4 lakh mein I can easily live. Now let me start living at 10 lakh rupee a year. If you do that, then you're distorting the math. If you are not doing that, if your expenses are controlled, if your lifestyle inflation is controlled, then at this stage, money-wise, you're retired and you're sorted. So once you're sorted with money, then congratulations, you have achieved a very big thing that most of us are not able to achieve. Then comes your second critical goal that you need to achieve, which is called as owning your time. You'll say, time to free hota hai. No, it is not. Time is the most critical commodity that you have. Let me show you some powerful graphics there. And this data comes from one of the studies that was done in the US. And what it shows is that how much time do you spend alone by age, with partner, with family, with children. And the trends are absolutely powerful. So for example, consider time alone. As you age, you start spending more time alone. What about family? You have very limited time with your family. You spend most of your time in your earlier year with families, but it keeps on going down with age. What about your children? Well, there is a very narrow window there that till the time they are young, most likely scenario is that you will spend time with them. But once they are old, they might go to college, they might get married, then you will not get to see them as much, and they might not get to see you. So from that perspective, again, very stark realization that we have very limited time with the people that we love. So time becomes a critical commodity. On top of this, you might have often heard that people are doing exceedingly well in their career and they are making like millions of dollars of salary. But the thing is that if you go back and ask them that, hey, what has been your biggest regret? You would often get the answer that, hey, not spending enough time with my family has been my greatest regret. What is the primary culprit there? A, they did not know how much money they truly needed, or they just simply overestimated the viewpoint that, hey, you know what, we have like infinite time. So please do not be wrong about this. Time is an absolute critical commodity. Try to save your time, try to save other people's time. If the meetings can be shortened, do it. Stop scrolling. That's the most important part. It's not as if that you need to watch every YouTube video at 1.5x. Just pick the type of content that you want to consume. If my content resonates, please watch it. If it does not resonate, it's completely okay. Pick and choose the type of people that you would want to follow. That's part one. So that's part A. And part B is that you need to be more conscious of how you are spending your time. For example, are you picking your phone to scroll, or are you opening your laptop to consume something that you thought that you're going to watch or research about? Then if not, then just doze off. Time wasting these days is not watching Netflix or going on a beach or enjoying your life. You should do that. That's what makes life worthwhile living. What is time wasting these days is that you do not know why you're scrolling. So that, according to me, is the biggest waste of time these days. So once you're money free and you have a good handle of time, you have started automating your stuff from a work point of view, then you come to step number 7. So at this stage, you have time because you're not wasting time. You have automated some of your work. Probably you have created some kind of parallel income stream through your investment, that 25x money that you had saved. So money wise, you're fine. Time wise, you're fine. So now you'll say, yaar, ab to moksha mil gaya, right? So no, that is not the point. In fact, research shows us that if you're not active and if you're not actively engaged, then your health will deteriorate, your lifespan will deteriorate. So it's very important, despite being time rich, despite being money rich, it's still very, very important to stay engaged. So this brings us to step number 7, which is finding your purpose. And there is a beautiful Japanese concept around it called as ikigai. In fact, these things have been spoken on Indian scriptures also. So this is not as if that this is a pure Japanese concept. It has been popularized by Japanese. So let's put it this way. See, if you're trying to find your ikigai, you're just simply trying to find the meaning of your existence in a way. You have to follow a series of things. You have to live a well-balanced life. So that involves finding some purpose in your work. So when we are young, we mostly work for money. But if money is out of the equation, would you still continue to work? So that's a question that you need to ask once you have achieved time freedom and location freedom. For me, the answer is yes, that I look forward to shooting YouTube videos. I love reading. If I were not even on YouTube, I would still continue to read, grasp knowledge. So that is something that makes me. So in your case, if you enjoy shooting YouTube video, if you enjoy writing, reading, if you enjoy gardening, whatever it is, you need to pick that hobby and you need to stay engaged in an activity. That is very important for your overall well-being point of view. It might look really lucrative that, you know what, sitting on a beach, enjoying life, all this stuff. No, you'll get bored of sitting on a beach. If you do not have anything else to do, you have to come back from the beach, do that activity, engage in it, get some value out of it, and then go back to beach the next day and the next day. So purpose makes life enjoyable. So once you have figured out your time aspect and money aspect, you have to figure out your purpose. So then comes the final stage, which is step 8, which is creating balance. Now, what do I mean by creating balance? Well, you might have a lot of free time, money, location independence, but what if your wife or husband or kids do not have the same? If you see them struggle, will you enjoy your life despite having all the good things in life? The short answer probably is no. That can apply to a larger context in the society, that if you are in a position to help others, definitely do it. If you are in a position to share knowledge, definitely do it. You would definitely anyways be helping your family. But considering all these different viewpoints and balancing them out along with your everyday activity becomes an important goal that allows you to create a more happy and holistic life. Now you might have a natural question that, okay, how are you doing it? Well, I teach at a non-profit from time to time. I will keep on doing a lot of free workshops, webinars for people. For example, I am doing one free workshop on financial literacy for kids. Now that is going to be an interactive workshop that I'm doing in Delhi. So this is an area that appeals to me. I would want kids to be more financially aware, financially educated. Money is an aspect that impacts all of us, whether we like it or not. So from that spirit, this is a passion project, which I would continue to grow on the sidelines. I would not charge any money for it. This will be made free for all. So that is the intent with which I'm doing it. In fact, I will try to put recordings online as well. But if you want to attend that live event, please check the links in the description and comment box. I have given enough information so you can go through it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon.